Welcome back, everybody, to the Electronic Age. I'm your host, Adrian Saya, and on today's episode, we have a very special guest who goes beyond music and into a whole new other industry, such as trading and beyond. I have Josh Barnes in the building. How you doing, Josh?
Very good, very good. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for bringing me on.
Of course, man. I'm happy you came onto the podcast. Now, tell the audience a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Josh Barnes, and I've been trading for the past really 6-7 years, and really in the mix of that, I was actually owning a few businesses and stuff like that. So I'm really like an entrepreneur at heart. Even when I was really getting out of high school, I started a couple different businesses and stuff like that. So really business and entrepreneur minded.
So tell me a little bit more about that, because I feel like that word is thrown around quite loosely nowadays.
Yeah,
you hear, everyone online wants to be an entrepreneur in some capacity, but what does that really mean to you, and what has your experience been with it?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So when it comes to entrepreneur, what I picture that as is always looking and having opportunities, like always finding and seeking opportunities, and being opportunistic minded. And so being able to spot opportunities to make money, and so that's why I love trading so much, is because there's so many opportunities in trading. You can make money when the market's going up. You can make money when it's going down, you can look and get small movements in the market. You can get big movements in the market. So there's tons of opportunity. That's why I like trading the most, but obviously businesses and other things too is nice too. So,
all right. Now I definitely want to dig into trading and everything that falls into that realm. But before I do, I want to talk a little bit more about your beginnings. Where were you born, and where did it all begin for you?
Yeah. So I was born in Tennessee. I moved to Florida. I currently still live in Pensacola, Florida.
All right.
It's in the Panhandle area of Florida, kind of near Destin.
Mm-hmm.
Still west of Tallahassee.
Okay.
And so, it's a smaller town. I love it there. But so I lived there, actually moved away from there to New York City. I lived there for a year or so and actually helped open a business. It was a restaurant right off of Times Square, which is pretty crazy. It's a cool experience. And so, I was in high school. I started a business, or actually two businesses. I was doing car detailing on a pretty high scale, and then I started it was like a mobile business on the beach, actually, because I lived right by the beach, so I had
you had that availability.
Yeah, exactly. It was great, and so I did that, and then I moved to New York City, helped open. Someone I knew was opening a restaurant right off Times Square, so I did that, and then I moved back to Florida, and then I actually purchased a business. It was a dry cleaning business. And that was actually probably one of the biggest businesses I had so far throughout the whole, journey. And the most successful for me, because I ended up negotiating the deal with the owner and purchased it at more than, I really negotiated. She was in a bad spot. Like her husband was sick and she was running it, and it
was a lot.
It was a lot. And so she was running it down, down the drain and stuff like that. So I was able to come in and negotiate and stuff like that. And so kind of what I found out was it's really all, about your purchase price, the initial,
it allows you to make a margin.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So I purchased that. I changed some things operational wise, and then I did a lot of marketing, some out of the box marketing and stuff like that. It was really cool. And then I sold it for more than double what I bought it for, just a little less than a year after.
Wow.
And so that was a really cool opportunity. I learned a lot from it. And then from there, I went really full time into trading, and had some ups and downs in trading. And it was a rough battle, actually figuring out trading and actually being able to trade successfully, consistently, and stuff like that. I have a pretty crazy story. A lot of people might know me from it, but I was after I sold that business, I was trading and I was doing decently well, and I ended up losing a lot of money, as well as incurring a lot of debt.
Mm.
So I had close to right about like $200,000 that I had in debt.
Wow.
That I owed banks, and I owed about another 100,000 to an investor that I was actually trading his capital for. And so
enough to make you sweat.
Yeah, and with no job, and I actually, it was crazy. I had a screenshot of it. I had $18.88 in my bank account at one point throughout all this, and it was a crazy time. But amazing story. I actually pulled myself out of that situation from trading, and I started trading with prop firms. And so it was amazing experience. And it really taught me that, success and winning in life is all about your mindset, so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I can see that, just to be able to pull yourself out of a really bad situation.
Yeah.
When people get into, especially financial debt, it can put quite a strain on the mind, the body, even the spiritual, honestly.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So when it came down to the wire, right? What are the prop firms that you mentioned? For those in the audience that don't know what that is, could you explain it for us?
Yeah. So a prop firm is basically, they offer an evaluation process. So you purchase an account from them, and then if you pass and meet the requirements, they will actually give you an account, let's say $100,000 account, and you get to trade on that. And then the profits you make, you get to keep 80-90% of the profit.
Wow.
So it's a really good opportunity. Usually you can get an account for $500 or $1,000. You can get a 100K account for about $1,000. And you just put up that money to purchase the challenge, and if you pass, then you get to trade with it and keep the profits. So it's a great way to kind of start your journey on trading, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite a journey. Now, when it comes to building the businesses, right, I feel like there has to be some type of mindset here to get involved with even your first steps of owning a business. I've been in that position before, and it can be quite intimidating. For anyone listening, what would you recommend be the first steps to evaluate for themselves to understand if it's the right thing for them?
Yeah. So I think one thing is having the right people around you. I encourage a lot of traders, but this goes beyond trading. It goes into business and success in general. But having a mentor, having someone that like has the knowledge, has gone through similar to like what you've been through, and can give you some guidance. So that's like one piece. You have to have the right people in your corner that can see things that you're not seeing, that are further along and might be able to point out some things. So that's one. Obviously, it goes back to being opportunistic and actually being able to find good opportunities. It could look, I've had this happen multiple times where it's like, it looks like a good opportunity. And sometimes if it's too good of a story, it's actually not.
It's a scam.
It's a scam. And so it's being opportunistic and actually being smart with it though, so.
I completely understand your perspective on this because I've been in similar situations myself where if it's too good to be true, if you just you'll see that the king's not wearing any clothes type of thing. It's just all a lie. But you got to be able to evaluate that yourself, and I think that's the risk of business a lot of times.
Yeah, and my thing, like, this is what I usually do. This is what I learned over the years. Is basically, whenever you're starting something or doing something new, take the first step. Like, the more you analyze and not take action, you'll be analyzing and doing the research for months and months and months, and you still won't have an idea of what to do. But take the first step. Don't make it a very expensive first step, but take the first step, because that first step will basically teach you, new things that you wouldn't have figured out if you just spent months of analyzing. If that makes sense.
Yes.
So,
you can never give yourself an opportunity to learn if you don't get started.
Exactly.
Essentially.
Yep.
And I feel like there was a lot of lessons. What were some of the biggest ones that you've learned from your time owning businesses, maybe even trading?
Yeah. That's a good question. Picking the right people to do business with. So part of the reason I got into so much debt was I was working with a business partner that was not a good gentleman to do business with.
I see.
And so actually the person I was trading his capital for was probably not one of the best people to trade with, because he was very demanding of returns and stuff like that. So that really caused me to kind of, not be able to trade,
Great
trade
stress.
well. Very stressful environment, stuff like that. So really picking the right people around you is kind of what I've learned, throughout the years is a key one.
Okay.
So.
Now, let's get into the trading aspect of this all.
Yeah.
When you say you trade, what instrument do you like to trade? What is your main trading platform?
Yeah. So I actually trade currencies. I trade in the Forex market, the foreign exchange market. So I'm trading currencies from other countries. What I mainly stick with is Australian dollar and US dollar. So I'm always buying or selling Australian dollar and US dollar.
Okay.
And so over the years, I've just they call them pairs whenever their two currencies are paired up. I've always just stuck with that currency pair because I just enjoyed the way it moves, and I looked at the data over years and actually did the best with Australian dollar, US dollar. So
I'm sure in the beginning it took some time for you to figure that out.
Yeah.
How did that trial and error look like? And trading can be a little stressful in that aspect because the consequences are kind of immediate, right? When you lose, you lose.
Yeah.
So what made you want to keep going until you realized, okay, I'm actually good in this pocket and I can take advantage of this?
Yeah. So I've always, I think I had always had this burning desire and this drive in me. And I think it started at a young age. And so I really just kind of blessed with that kind of drive in me to kind of succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when I was young, I always looked up to like Michael Jordan and the success that he had. And so I really strive for kind of, being successful, in some capacity like he did. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
His mansion's actually up for sale if you haven't heard.
I saw that. I think someone actually
put a bid?
I think so. Yeah.
I heard he was under contract, so we'll see.
That's crazy. Yeah. That'd be cool. I mean, it looks sweet.
Oh, it looks sick.
It looks
so
cool.
sick.
Yeah.
So everything I've met from successful traders and people who do extremely well, especially in those environments, have a set of rules that they just do not deviate from, or else there's very big consequences.
Yeah.
What are some of yours?
Yeah. So kind of go back to your last question. It was kind of like a blessing a little bit, but also a disadvantage I had. I never really had a mentor. And so I never really had someone that I could like lean on to like teach me the ways of trading, like, hey, you probably don't want to do this, And so I kind of had, like, I got ideas from this educator, this one. So I kind of pieced it all together over the years.
Yes.
And so in some ways that was nice, but some ways it took a long time to get to where I am now, So if you have someone in, giving you guidance, you definitely could expedite that process, that I went through. But my rules, I kind of pieced all together by getting different ideas from different people. One key thing I picked up from when I was actually living in New York, I met like 2 or 3 hedge fund owners, and they kind of gave me a little bit of an idea of how they look at the market and what they kind of see and stuff like that. And so that was like majority of like the theory or the idea of how I look at the market now. And that was very beneficial. But kind of the rules I have are honestly like, I have like technical rules where I'm looking at the chart and I need this to happen and this to happen. But really a lot of it is based more on psychology and more on like keeping my psychology in place and having the right mindset before entering and going into the market. Because really all success and all really wealth creation and money is all on psychology. And you can see a direct correlation with when it comes to trading is if your psychology is off, you won't be able to make money in the market. And I found that to be very true. in other businesses too. It's psychology or behavior. It's how you behave, and relate to money.
I see.
Yeah.
It sounds very woo-woo at times when you try to explain it to someone, but when you actually get into the nitty-gritty of trading, psychology plays such a massive role.
Yeah.
Especially with patience. I've learned sometimes you truly just need to be patient to have something play out the way you want it to.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself trading more in the short term or long term when it comes to this?
Yeah. So I trade in the short term. I trade in the very short term. So I'm actually in and out of trades within an hour.
Wow.
Or so. Yeah. And I actually enjoy that. And I found it actually be a little bit easier on the way I look at the market. So and I actually changed my strategy up a little bit. So let's say if I don't have a whole lot of like time to dedicate it to like watching the chart, if I'm traveling or something or got a lot of meetings set up, I'll actually trade on a larger time frame and basically look for trades that are more like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours long instead of like an hour or two,
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And in that case, what are you looking for? The moving average? You're looking for liquidity? What is your thing?
So I have like a very, very unique strategy and way of looking at the market. I don't use any probably any indicator you've ever heard of. And so I was actually on a call today where I was coaching someone and was trying to help him develop a strategy or whatever. And I was telling him, I was showing him my indicator that I use, and I was like, he was like, "Whoa, that's so crazy!" It's like I've never seen that before. So it's no one ever really uses it. But what I do, what it is, it's a volume profile. It's a volume indicator. So like, if you've probably seen before, most volume indicators have the volume at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically it'll show at what time of day volume spikes or is low or something like that. What I look at is actually the volume on a vertical scale. So it's flipped on its side basically. And it's showing at what price there's high and low volume areas.
Wow. I can see.
And so, it can be very, very beneficial and efficient looking at it that way. And so you're kind of actually monitoring order flow, like how much volume is coming into the market now, how much is this volume coming into the market at this level, and basically trading based off of those high and low volume areas.
All right. I could see that being a gem that anyone could take and really trying to implement it. That's where the bread and butter is.
100%.
So I want to tie back a little bit to something that you mentioned earlier, and that's that finding a mentor can be drastically beneficial, right? One thing about trading, and I think this really happened post-COVID especially, is the pop-up of a lot of these groups and promising mentorship.
Yeah.
And I think it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth when it comes to Forex trading.
Yeah.
What piece of advice would you give to anyone looking for a mentor but not falling into a trap that could be one of these predatory organizations?
Yeah. How much time do we have?
It's a bloated question,
Dude,
but I think it's the true state of that industry.
No, there's a lot of things I could say here. And it's unfortunate that like this is like a topic that
it's like a stain on it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because they kind of put a stain on, like you said, like a stain on trading and I think really specifically Forex trading.
Literally, more so. That's it. Yeah.
And so I mean, what's crazy about the industry is you can actually manipulate and show profits that actually aren't true, which is terrible. Not a whole lot of people know about. Maybe I shouldn't blow the secret, to people.
I mean, the secret needs to be blown. Clearly, you can take a picture of unrealized gains and then be like,
well, even through like a broker account, like actually on your account, if they have deals with a broker, they can actually show fake trades and fake profits through a broker account, and it'll be on their phone. And so one way is if they've gotten paid out from a prop firms do not, do not manipulate or do anything like that. Brokers will do like marketing accounts, I think is what they're calling them. Marketing accounts.
Marketing accounts.
Yeah. Prop firms don't. So if a trader or an educator or mentor of yours is like gotten paid out from a prop firm, you know he's legit. He's actually made money in the market because there's no way of like scamming or
it is what it is.
That. Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing. Another is really just kind of asking questions about their strategy and how they look at the market. Because a lot of things with these educators is what they do is they kind of like steal a strategy and they don't actually understand the mechanics of the market. It's a simple strategy possibly could be like 2 moving averages crossing and that's their entry and that's what they're selling. It's like that's what their education is, and it's like they're just 2 random lines that are crossing and that's your strategy. It's like that's not really pieced together well. There's no real logic and theory of understanding of how the market works, and so it's asking kind of the right questions and stuff like that. And another thing is really just like, is the educator salesy? Like
it's a big one.
It's a big one, and that's a lot of the industry is that they're real salesy. And so like for me, this is kind of what you want to look for. And I'm not saying to like come to me for education or whatever, but like I didn't educate. I didn't have any kind of education. I'm just now starting to like do a little bit of education. Like I currently only do one-on-one consulting calls like every once in a while if I have time. And so like if a person just started trading and then they a month later start selling courses and stuff like that, like, I've been trading for 7 years and I'm just now, teaching a little bit, you know what I mean? So really kind of look for that as well. So
see if they have skin in the game.
Yeah.
And it's a real thing.
Yeah.
I've always said if it looks like a pyramid, acts like a pyramid, it's probably a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
So let's chat a little bit about building resilience, because it's tough when you take these losses.
Yeah.
I've been in that position trading where you take a fat L and that L burns. You get the fear in you and you're like, I need to get out or else I'll lose all my money.
Yep.
So you do it. How do you keep going, understanding that you just took one of the biggest losses of your life?
Yep.
Like what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the key things is actually having a good strategy. And I talk about this a decent amount, but having a strategy is one thing, but knowing the why behind the strategy is very helpful, because if you understand the why, you're willing to stick out a trade if it goes against you for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
you have more faith.
You have more faith in it. Yeah, exactly.
What it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you have more understanding. It's like, if like a boss tells you to go do something, and you're like, okay, sure, and then you go do it, but if he told you why to go do that, then you're going to be like, okay, like I'm going to make more money if I go do what he just told me to do. Then I'm going to stick with it, and I'm actually going to get it done. So there's like a different energy and different, mental,
So there's a discipline there.
Yeah.
You got to really stay disciplined.
Yeah.
I think when a lot of people see trading, they see graphs, they see charts, and they see numbers, and that's it. Yeah. But this psychological piece that we're talking about has a lot to do with discipline.
Definitely. It really, really does come down to discipline. And like you said having the faith in it, that could go from, just over time, back testing and seeing if your strategy works, and that builds up your faith into what you're doing. And you can take that analogy into whatever you kind of put that into is, yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Would you ever find yourself in a position to trade other types of currencies? Or I know crypto is always a hot commodity.
Yeah.
Would you ever go into kind of that avenue of trading?
Yeah. So I like to stick with what I know, and I stick
It's profitable.
This is working for me and this is what I'm going to stick with. I obviously do my research and look for other opportunities, and look for, if there's a change in, the industry or a change in the market, I'm going to adapt and stuff like that. But this is working for me. I do look at other investments. I think crypto for me is more so just a long-term play and kind of like, a way to put away money into, longer term investments and stuff like that. So
Definitely.
that's what I'm doing. But as far as trading short term, I think there's definitely some possibility of doing that. I definitely know of some people that do. And so, yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a crazier market, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially with some of these shit coins. But
yeah. And that's what's crazy is like, the Forex market, is like $7-8 trillion is traded every single day in the market.
Yep.
So the market cap is insane. With the crypto market, a trader could come in, someone with a decent amount of money come into the market and they can actually move it.
They manipulate it.
Manipulate it, yeah, exactly. And so, they can't do that with the Forex market, And so there's totally two different ways of markets and a way of trading and stuff like that. So
I see.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit more because we talked about how you went from businesses right into trading after you exited that laundromat, which I've heard is a great business to own just in general, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you don't really got to hire a lot of staff. They're just mostly coin-based, so you can do a lot with taxes. It's good.
Yeah.
So you exited. What told you, all right, trading is got to be my next, cup of tea?
Yeah. So I always was like buying and selling stocks.
Okay.
When I got out of high school, I was like always kind of interested in trading. But I never really got into like short-term trading until after. But I came across, it was really just like someone on social media. I saw that he was trading Forex. At the time, I was like mid through the journey of owning that dry cleaning business. And the past couple of months, I started learning more about Forex and then just kind of went full time into it. But it really was just someone over social media and he was selling signal services. And, that's another thing. If you're, looking for an educator, if they're selling signal services, most of the time, they're not going to work. If you want to try for a little bit and you'll find out that it's probably not working.
Right. Because there's no strategy behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
But I was doing that. I was following his trades, whatever. And yeah, sure. I saw, it worked for a couple trades and I was like, dude, this is awesome. I can make serious money at this, very quickly, which you can in the industry. You can trade, you can make stupid money very quickly with trading.
Yep.
And so I saw the potential. I saw the possibility with it. And I was like, this is what I'm going to put my focus on. Cause I feel like it's the biggest possibility, biggest opportunity to make, I think you can make more money in trading with a short amount of time than anything else. If you can get over the learning curve really quick, the learning curve was what, but once you got that, then it's kind of game over and you scale up and grow fast.
That is a big portion about this that I did want to mention, and that's that learning curve. Yeah. People see these charts, they see these moving averages, volume, all these words. And the fact that you have to then create your own chart to create a strategy can be quite intimidating.
Yeah.
How did you make that more comprehensive for yourself? Like, did you just watch YouTube videos? Did you buy a book?
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah. It was YouTube University a little bit. It was, listening to other, educators out there, seeing what other people were doing, and honestly, just doing a whole lot of research, on my own, like looking, what does this indicator do? What does this indicator do? What's going on here? What's going on there? And what I found is, in a lot of, what a lot of educators do is they put a lot of indicators on a chart, and this is another thing to look out for. You want to have, and this is what I did over time, you want to have your strategy so simplified. And this all goes back to psychology. This is the reason why, is because it keeps your psychology, kind of easier to keep it in check. You want to have your strategy so simple and easy and not scatter with a bunch of indicators on a chart. Because anytime a human, anyone gets into a stressful situation, like trading is, you're not going to be able to make a good decision most of the time.
It's not going to be rational.
Logic, rational, all that is thrown out the window.
Yeah.
And so if you have a strategy that's 1-2 steps, I need this to happen and this to happen, then it's so easy to really figure out, should I enter or not? You just wait for those 2 steps or 3 steps or whatever. Make it very, very simple for you and very, very easy to know when to enter or not enter. So,
I see. That's such an important piece right there. And I think that understanding can help people with the barrier of entry into trading, because you see all these graphs, you see all these lines, and it can be quite intimidating.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the community aspect in terms of your friends, right? When it came to trading, did you look for other people that you can talk to about these things? And you can be like, yo, like, tell me more. I gotta, because once you like something, you want to find others that do it.
Yeah. I definitely did. And there were some opportunities here and there. I think it's, there definitely are opportunities out there. And definitely in Miami. I mean, there's so many people trading. And so that's a good thing and a bad thing. They could be, I haven't been in Miami too long to kind of really get a whole gauge on it, but a lot of them could be all faking it. Some could be actually doing legit, which I know there are legit people here doing stuff. So, as far as a whole community, I wouldn't say of like, who to go for as far as a whole community.
Oh, no. I just mean like if you met other traders that you're like, yo, you're really cool.
Yeah.
Like, let's just talk
It's definitely very beneficial doing that. Like, I definitely have some very successful traders, friends of mine.
Okay.
And I think, it's funny. I think like what I've come to realize is actually successful traders actually hang out with successful traders, and like the guru, the educators, the fashion, all the flashy, guys out there, they hang out with those type of people, and so like that's another way you can kind of feel it out. And so, the real traders actually kind of find real traders, and the ones that, I think it's kind of the same, I think at least for me, and I know for other, traders out there, is like they're willing to help other traders. If they're, people that want to get to where we are or even further, if they want to learn, I'm definitely willing to kind of, teach and stuff like that. And I know other people are, because there's no competition, there's no competition. If someone knows my strategy or knows someone else's strategy, it's not like I lose the power to trade anymore. It's not like they're taking money from me.
Right.
But if you take, an educator's strategy that actually isn't making any money from the market, then, you just took business from him. You know what I mean? So I can't lose any business if you know my strategy. You know what I mean? So,
right. It's all about how you implement it anyway at the end of the day. And that's the beautiful thing about trading. Everyone's got a different method to it, different psychology. Even if you have the same strategies per se, doesn't mean you're going to behave the same as the other person when it comes to actually pressing that sell and buy button.
Yeah.
So
definitely. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about really what's next, right? So you've established the Forex, you've gotten good at it. Yeah. Where do you want to go from here? I've seen on your social, you've done marketing. That's pretty badass. I see your videos. They're looking pretty tight. Yeah. So what's next for you?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely getting a little bit more into the education side of things. So I'm doing a little bit of kind of like consulting with, one-on-one teaching and stuff like that with people.
Nice.
I am launching here soon. And basically, I'm a detailed list of exactly how my strategy works. So I'm basically just be, selling that really at a low price for what it's worth. Like amazing value. an amazing, potential, if you take that and be able to make
Implement it
the
to
same
yourself.
money. Yeah, exactly. So education a little bit, but I'm not too excited, I'm not too crazy excited about all the education stuff. With it though, I do just want to help people, because I know it is a difficult game and difficult thing to pick up. And so I want to help the community and the people that are trying to trade. So that's my whole goal with that. But I'm really excited about more on the development side, and really getting more into a hedge fund.
Okay.
And so I've actually developed a indicator. It actually is really what my strategy is. And I took all the concepts that I would want in an indicator, where it's very plain and simple how to read it. And it's very beneficial. It gives good signals and everything. It's very solid, very nice. So I developed that relatively recently. And so that's really exciting. I definitely want to kind of expand on that and make it even better and do a little bit more things with that. And then it's the hedge fund. So I'm in works with that. That's a longer process, longer project. But that's the goal, because at the end of the day, I love trading and that's what I'm good at. And that's, that's what I want to do. And, the more the education takes, more time and stuff like that out of the day. And I got into trading so that I had the freedom to kind of do whatever I want.
I see.
And I don't have a whole lot of time spent, in doing things I don't want to do. I trade for an hour or two and then I'm done, and I can spend the rest of the day doing whatever I want to do,
Yep.
And so that's why I got into trading, and I love trading. I'm good at it. And so I kind of just want to do more of that and be able to make even more money from trading. So,
Okay.
And the way to do that is to trade with more capital.
I see the hedge fund piece there.
Yeah.
That's where it all comes together.
Exactly. Yep. Mhm.
Very cool.
Yep.
And for the general person out there, there is this statistic out there, especially on what's been viral recently on social that I've seen. And it's that only 1% of traders really become profitable.
Yeah.
It becomes very, it almost seems like a David versus Goliath type of feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hearing that statistic, what can people do to kind of set themselves up for success if they do want to experience this freedom?
Mm-hmm.
We did touch on it before, having the strategy, understanding the indicators.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything else? Because 1% is a low figure.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. It is. It is a crazy low figure. It's crazy. And I would bring it back to psychology and having the right mindset. It's trading is all psychology. All psychology. And the more you get exposure to it and the more you do it, the more you realize that it is all psychology. You can have these rules in place, but are you staying disciplined? Is your behaviors and your mind, right? And so that's the most important thing and honestly the most difficult piece of it, because there's no real like with the strategy, it's you can have these certain rules, but psychology, you kind of have to like build your own kind of rules in place to kind of manage yourself and your mindset and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And so that's a little bit more of a difficult piece to kind of put together, but that would be it.
All right.
That. Yeah.
So when can people expect your upcoming release of your strategy? Do you have a timetable right now of what you want to release?
Yeah. So I'll be releasing basically the strategy information next week. So,
next week.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So it's very, very soon.
All right. So next week, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. Next Friday.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So that's when people can expect it.
Yep.
It's very exciting. Is this going to be on your Instagram?
Yeah. I'll have the link on my Instagram. Yep.
Fantastic. Yep. Well, Josh, is there anything else you would like to tell the audience while we're here?
No, just follow me on Instagram. I'm mainly active on Instagram. So it's currently the _Josh Lee. So
Okay.
follow me on Instagram and hit me up with any questions, any way I can be of help to you guys. I love to help. So
awesome, man. Well, this has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Josh. And for those of you who tuned in, be sure to give Josh a follow. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.